Nieves is a former NYPD detective and says do not...
Everybody's looking for the monkey.
Yeah. So you
our smiles, we'll give you a little bit of a brief.
And welcome everybody to another show of Your Pet Detective. I'm Radina Sud along with that guy over there, Angel Nieves. And I have lost count as to what number show this is, but all I can say is that the subscriptions are increasing. More people are listening. We're getting more information out there. So tell all your friends because the show is important. The show is very important, not only for pets, but for volunteers. And just get the word out there. And, keep tuning in. Keep supporting us because it's very, very important. There are not that many shows out there like ours that help people like this one right here. This isn't a person. This is Buddha who's misbehaving tonight. But I love her because she's a good cat and she's always curious. And speaking of, Buddha was a rescue, as a matter of fact. She was a little tiny feral baby up in Arkville, New York, and my daughter and I went up there and we got her, and she's been a blessing. I cannot tell you so many times over and over and over. But forget about my story. I'm going to have a guest today who actually rescues thousands of pets like this little black fur ball here. And her name is Jada Adorno. And I think that Angel has some video before we get to Jada. And it's going to show you exactly what Jada and her organization does.
Right, her organization is Flight Angels, and it's in Puerto Rico, my country.
And there you have it. So for everybody who's wondering what this organization is about, Jada is also a former NYPD cop. And she moved to Puerto Rico when she retired with her husband. And about 2 years ago, Jada discovered that there were animals in Puerto Rico, dogs, cats that were just dumped. And Jada decided that she was going to try and do something about it. And it's not just one cat, 2 dogs, it's a whole bunch of animals. And to date, she now has 13,000 volunteers with her group. And what they do is they accompany pets on flights from Puerto Rico. And on the other side, when they land, there are people who are willing to adopt those dogs, those cats, and give them a proper home. And Jada's group has been around for roughly 2 years, but it's in the process of expanding. So Jada, I've done all the talking. I'm going to let you talk about what you do.
Hey guys.
Jada's live from Puerto Rico too. This ain't New York. This is Puerto Rico. Jada's live from the PR. So Jada, dígame.
Hi, thank you very much for having me. It's one of the most important things in my life. Upon retiring from the NYPD and moving here with my husband, we had been coming here for years, but I never really saw the devastation until I actually moved here and started driving around, started walking on the road. We started walking when COVID hit, and I ran into my first rescue. He was tied to a tree. He had mange, and it was like on a deserted road. I took him to a rescue, and they took him, and I started following another one. I was like, I didn't have anybody. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know who could help or where I could get any help. So I started following Souls of Satos, and they would put up flyers asking for help for volunteers to take a puppy to the States. And that's how Fight Angel started. I would start by posting in the travel groups and started talking to the admins and became friends. And did the group, and I never, ever, ever, when I tell you I never thought it was going to work, I really didn't. It just blossomed into what I call a village of angels, because if one person can't fly a pup, they share. And upon sharing our group and sharing with the family, it grows and grows. And maybe when that person becomes on vacation, they get to help. But I'll tell you what Flight Angels really does. I get rescuers who have requests to have, let's say, a puppy go to Boston, and they have either an adopter or assist the rescue in Boston. I have a list, and we have forms that vacationists fill out when they come, and they give all their information, their flight information, their phone numbers, everything that you could think of, and their destination and their dates. And we match the rescuer with the vacationer. And we make a group chat, we introduce them, and then once everything is set, the rescuer books and pays for the flight with the information that they give. They meet 2 hours prior to depart time with all necessary needs, with soft carrier, the pup goes underneath the seat in front. It does not affect your personal or carry-on item because those are paid for separate, and your personal could go underneath your feet still, the back of your legs. Anything that you could possibly think of, they send it with the dog, like emergency poop bags, everything, anything you can think of, leash, collar, for the cat or for a kitten. Some airlines allow 2 in a carrier and some just 1. Sometimes we've had family just take 1, and we've had families take 8. And it's just a rewarding experience to see when you have a little thing that you looked at and you thought like you couldn't even imagine how it's even surviving. And you see, once it gets to New York and it's in a family and it's loved, and you go like, whoa, my God, all that running to the vet and getting them ready and prepping them and making sure everything is good and socializing them and fleas and ticks and maybe some worms, anything like that. Getting them healthy is well worth it.
It reminds me, there's a great Chinese proverb that says the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. And that's something that I think we should all remember when we say, oh, well, it isn't going to make a difference. It starts with a single step, folks, and it does make a difference. And you can see that right here. Now, have there ever been instances where the rescuer arrives at the airport and the person who's supposed to pick up the animal doesn't show up?
Nope, we've never had it happen. Every person, you have to realize that it's like the rescuer is taking their baby, giving their baby to somebody and trusting them. And that other side is the other parent waiting for that baby to get there. So they're ready, they're waiting, they're already communicating. In the group chat will be the person dropping off, the person flying, and the person picking up. So everybody's in communication days before it even, before they even fly. So everything is set. And if not, there would be a backup person. There's always somebody back up because they know all the stress and everything that this poor little puppy or kitten is going through. So everybody has been, it's on point, thank God. I mean, like everything is on point. People have been doing this for a long time. So whatever kinks that we've come across, we try to work them out along the way.
How far in advance does this have to be planned? Let's say in a hypothetical situation, I get word of a little dog in Puerto Rico. And I see, number one, how do I go about finding this dog? I mean, I guess I should reverse my question. If there's a dog in Puerto Rico that I want to adopt, how do I go about finding that dog?
Well, a lot of people message me, and I connect them either with a rescuer or dogs that I have adoptable myself.
Right.
but we have a lot of people don't directly adopt from their rescue. They send it to the states and allow the states rescue to adopt them out because they could do a better background check on the families. Like here, like in, let's say, for instance, New York, a rescue is going to adopt a dog out. They are going to maybe do a home visit, or they have a better way of doing more checks on that person. As to if you're doing it from here, you're on a computer and you're saying, okay, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. But I do have rescues that we have adopted out amazing families. They do like FaceTime like this, and they go and they show the apartment, the house, they do the backyard, they show everything in the backyard. And it's usually a process they built up to make sure that everything is going to be good.
Okay, so the first step, again, if I say, oh, you know something, I would really like to adopt a dog from Puerto Rico. Where would I begin? Where would I begin to find this dog? I also have another group called Puerto Rico Adoptables. Right. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so walk
Yes.
me through the process.
Usually they go on. Usually somebody makes a post asking what they're looking for, and then we find out if they have other dogs, if they have children, if it's a puppy, do they want a small breed? Do they want something that stays small? Do you want a small, young adult? I would probably say that the average dog in Puerto Rico is small to medium. There are no big dogs, really. You'll find some. There are no really good amounts of pit bulls. Most dogs here that are medium sized, of course, they're all Satos, but they're usually like lab mixes, yellow mac mixes, golden retriever mixes, shepherd mixes. And then you have a lot of Chihuahua mixes,
Chihuahuas, yeah.
Schnauzer mixes. I just had a Schnauzer mix the other day. Myself, I've rescued 4 Schnauzer puppies in a box on the side of a highway. One lady took 2, and I grabbed 2, and I ended up keeping one. Her name is Scarlett, and my mom-in-law took the male, and his name is Buddy. And you can't even like fathom that, or that these are purebred dogs.
So in other words, so I just want to make it clear to the audience that if somebody wants to adopt a small dog, that they should go to your website, which is called Puerto Rico Adoptables.
Or they could just
and they can message you and they can say, okay, look, I'm looking for, I don't know, a Bichon Frise. I'm looking for a Jack Russell Terrier. Do you have one available? And that's where the communication begins. Yeah. Now, once that communication begins, and the person, the adopter is vetted, then they are responsible for the cost of flying the dog from Puerto Rico to, let's say, Long Island.
Yes.
Okay. And
that's part of their adoption, probably part of their adoption fee. Some rescuers just want some rescuers have an adoption fee for a few $100s, and then some rescuers just have where they want you to pay for the flight, which is usually around between $90 and $125. The carrier, to cover the cost of the carrier, which is like about $30, give or take, and the vaccines. Most of them want to see the dogs just have a family and have a home and be able to cover for the next dog.
Right, and the dogs are in good health, and
yes,
the dogs and the cats are vetted for disease, all of that, and that's
every animal here is tested because you're sending it to a different, to the States. They get heartworm tested, or I don't know. I probably won't be able to say the names correctly. Urchuler, something with an E, and they get tests and all that kind of stuff. So they get tested for everything, and they get vaccines for everything.
What about microchip? Are they also microchipped there?
They are. That all depends. No, not really. A lot of the vets here don't really do microchip. You would probably have to go to a PetSmart or Petco. They do have those here, but it's just probably another added cost. You have to realize that a lot of the rescuers here are not rescue groups. They're independent rescuers. They're a person like me who don't have donations. The average person here's salary is $7 an hour, between $7 and $8 an hour. And these are women that have feeding routes. They go every single day with bags of food and feed about 50 dogs and puppies and cats. And they carry buckets of water in their car, like gallons of water. You would not even believe it. So when I'm leading into that is that I made a GoFundMe to raise money so we could do a nonprofit for Flight Angels. And the nonprofit will help the independent rescuers not have to worry about paying for their vets bills, for their flights. There are some people that don't, like there are some rescues, some shelters in the States that don't give any money back for the dogs or the puppies. Even though they're making donations, they're getting adoption fees. Let's say in the States, the rescuer here doesn't see anything from it. And they keep doing it and keep going, but they're doing everything out of their own pockets.
What about spay and neuter? Do the pets arrive spayed and neutered, or does the adopter have to pay for
Depends on if it depends on the age of the dog, and it depends if they're going to an adopter and the doctor says, I would like to have the dog spayed or neutered before they come. They will go and they will have them pay for it here because it is cheaper. It is a lot cheaper here compared to the States. And then,
New York is ridiculous.
Some are just too young to do it.
But they can have spay and neuter done in Puerto Rico as opposed to New York. Okay, case in point. I wanted to have when I first got my little cat, I wanted to have her spayed and neutered. I wanted to have her spayed rather. And the vet wanted $600. $600. I thought that I had to ask him twice to make sure that I understood what he was saying. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. It's a top-notch clinic, but $600. Who can afford that in New York?
No. Well, in Puerto Rico, the vets are really good, and they are a huge difference in price. I would probably say that a spay and neuter for a cat maybe could be anywhere between $65 and $75, maybe $80. The dog could be anywhere between $75 and $125.
Right, which is reasonable. I mean, if you're going to adopt a pet with all the shots, that's
yes.
I would say it's a walk in the park, but that's a reasonable amount of money. And so you're doing this, I take it full time, correct?
Yes. Also, we have before Hurricane Maria, there was a thing called a spay-a-thon, and they were going from town to town, spaying and neutering all the dogs and cats, and it started to slow down the population, and people started to actually see a change.
Yeah.
Then Hurricane Maria came, and the spay-a-thon never came back, and people fled Puerto Rico, and they left their dogs that are unneutered and unspayed and cats, and they started repopulating again. And now the problem has become so horrific, so horrific. If I told you how many messages a day, and that's just me, not including all the rescuers, I get for the average of help for puppies. This dog just had a litter of puppies in a staircase. Can somebody please help? It just doesn't stop. Yeah. So there is a program with my friend Kelly Meadows. She does spay our Satos. She raises money to do spays for people who live here that can't afford to have their dog or cat spayed. So like older people that can't have it done, so this way they could keep their dogs and they don't keep overpopulating their own, because they end up becoming hoarders.
Yeah.
So, and there's also Rosalind Stewart. She's another SATO Care Alliance. She does also a spay-a-thon. Like these are many things. These are not even a lot, maybe 25 dogs and cats that she could get done in a month. But that's all on donations, which, you can only go so far when you're a small rescuer on an island.
I don't think the people realize the dire need. I just talked to a friend of mine tonight before the show from Maricao, and he said, "Look, he says there are people there that can't even afford to feed themselves,
Yeah.
let alone feed a pet." So, we think we have this vision of La Isla being, wonderful and beautiful and abundant, and it is. It is.
Yes.
The tourists flock there, but there's also a subtext of poverty and people who never recovered from a series of hurricanes with little help from FEMA. And they're still struggling to live, to feed themselves, to feed their children. And they have pets that they adore, but they can't afford to feed the pets. Angel, I've done all the talking. Let's hear you.
Well, call my mind. I mean, you're doing an excellent job. You're doing a great job, and I like. I mean, this is like a part 2 of Puerto Rico because we just did one with Evelyn, and
Andrew.
right, and the thing is, you guys are doing excellent. Now, I'm thinking like a cop, and now you know what I'm going to be talking about, which is lost pets, especially in Puerto Rico because of Mother Nature, because of the hurricanes. I mean, just the rain itself, it could get a humongous flood. You don't even need a hurricane. And the animals do go away, and they have no way to come back because it takes them. Now, Mother Nature takes them from one spot to another, or they just get lost. And microchip, and she's gone.
No, did we lose you? She'll be back. We can keep talking. Look at her. We'll get her back.
And microchip is very, very important. And it sounds like it's very hard to bring the microchip over there to Puerto Rico. So it has to be some way. And I was thinking about somebody that we know that we were in the show with from Florida that did do the microchipping and see what kind of program could be sent to Puerto Rico.
Well, it takes a lot of, it takes a village. Like I say, it takes a village to raise a child, and it also takes a village to keep animals alive and give animals the proper care that they need. And this is something that probably volunteer organizations, volunteer doctors, volunteer vets might want to get involved in. So if there's anybody out there in the audience who is a veterinarian or a volunteer group, if you feel that you have the time and you have the resources to devote to microchipping dogs in Puerto Rico and possibly cats too, then look into that and think about that, because you're doing a great service. I mean, it works very well here, but it would work even better in Puerto Rico, which has been hit by a number of hurricanes, which has not recovered, and they're poverty-stricken areas where people just do not have the resources. They don't have the funds to microchip their pets. And as Angel says, the pets get lost. Pets are members of your family. Pets are very, very important. And just because you don't have any money doesn't mean that you don't deserve to have a pet. And that pet, in order to stay with your family, or if that pet wanders off, needs to be microchipped. And that is it's an issue that will stretch across a lot of areas of the world that need to have pets microchipped. But we're talking about an island that's just off the coast of the off the coast of the United States, which is very easy to get to. We're not talking about a lot of flight time. We're talking about a quick trip, which is roughly 3 hours. That if you have some spare time, if you have time to devote, just go down there for a week. You'll be able to enjoy the sunshine and the hospitality of wonderful people. And also you'll be doing a service to help out people. You'll be doing a service if you can volunteer to spay and neuter those animals. And that's very, 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 it's a very good thing. It's a good deed. And probably, probably a tax write-off too. So let's think in terms of mercenary terms, you can write that off if you want to do charitable contributions. So I don't know if we're going to be able to get Jada back again.
Well, I wrote back to her. She's trying. Her phone heated up.
Okay, Jada's phone heated up, so it's still signing, which may give us a chance to talk about to keep you folks interested while waiting for Jada to come back on. Angel, what future shows up? There's Jada right there. We got her back again just in time. We're about to go into future shows, but we have our present show right here, right now. So thanks for signing on again.
Sorry
We're
about that.
that's okay. Look, this is. I always tell the audience, look, we are a work in progress, and there are glitches, but it also shows the authenticity of the show. We're not perfect, but at least we're able to get the word out there, and getting the word out there. We are coming towards the end of our show, and so Jada, is there anything that you want to add? Of course, there's stuff that you want to add. You want to talk about volunteers. You want to talk about websites. This is your chance to promote your cause. So, what would you like people to know?
I would love people that to have awareness of what goes on in Puerto Rico, that we need spay and neuter programs. We need money funded for those that are not funneled through the government, because I'm not going to say because we're on air, but we know where the money goes. It doesn't go to where it's supposed to. We need people like in our group Flight Angels and Puerto Rico Travelers, because those two groups work together, and Puerto Rico Adoptables and Spay Our Satos, Solo Satos, Proud Rescuers, all of these groups. So I can go on forever with all these amazing women who come together and rescue. But really the most biggest thing is spay and neuter programs and education. We need somebody to help. We need like real help. We need we're going to have our down season is going to start coming in because of the hurricane season, and people aren't going to be traveling and we're going to lose flyers.
Well, that's exactly what we were talking about before. The importance is, since you have this bad weather,
Yes.
it's important for the people to be aware and educated what to do and prepare for this kind of disasters with your pets. What
Yes.
kind of procedure, what kind of stuff to put on the animals so they could come back to the family when it gets lost. And you guys find these animals and know where to go to take to the family. And also, it's very, very important the microchip. And if
Yes.
the microchip is hard to get in Puerto Rico, I would try to get some people from here in the States to find a way how to help. There's a good organization in Florida that we had a show with in the past, and their job is microchip and awareness for people for the pets not to get stolen or lost.
That would be great.
They have a lot of hurricanes in Florida too.
Sure.
That would be great.
So,
I don't know if you guys, it is really fast, but they finally did one thing. I don't know if you guys are aware, but about last year, a man who lives here who was, he shot a dog on a golf course and he killed it. And people thought he was going to get away with it. He literally just got sentenced 1 year and a day.
Shot a dog on a golf course? What was that's a
Yep.
Wow.
Because they dig him his property. And he thought he was going to get away with it to get rid of a nuisance.
Well, this is why we have shows like this, because sometimes you have to scratch your head and think, I can't say it on the air, but what the bleep goes into somebody's head where they think that it's okay to shoot a dog on a golf course. But before I go off on a tangent about that, so if people want to volunteer, there are people still before hurricane season that will be flying back and forth.
There are other things people could do to volunteer. They could be a road angel. A road angel is a list that we have also in Flight Angels, where people could pick up from the airport and maybe drive to or hold the pet overnight for fostering, because sometimes the person can't use that particular flight because they don't have somebody to pick up, so they won't send the dog. But we could have volunteers who do road trips, like who could bring a dog to Long Island from JFK or from Newark to, those kind of things. Anybody could message me. I answer and respond to every message I get. I never, even if it's crazy or anything, I respond. My name could always message.
And again, to get in contact with you, they go to where?
You go Jada Adorno Facebook Messenger, and I even check my spam, incomings. I check everything because I never want to miss it.
And they can also go on Facebook, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's so again, so for the audience, it's Jada Adorno, one word or 2 words?
2 words.
Okay, Jada Adorno, and you see the spelling of her name at the bottom of the break. You can go to her on Facebook, and if you're not on Facebook, how can they reach you?
They could email me at D as in David, E as in Edward, 934@yahoo.com.
Okay, say it again. Say it again because your audio didn't come across very clearly. So
J as in Jam, A as in Apple, D as in David, E as in Edward, Jade, 934@yahoo.com.
okay, you heard it, folks. You heard it. So
But I want to before we finish off, I want to play this tape that you have that's on YouTube and explain to people more, actually even where to go to and everything. And if they cannot pick up what we said about how to reach out, they can also see this on YouTube.
This is wonderful. Those pets are adorable. And again, folks, if you want to adopt a pet from Puerto Rico, you're going to go to Puerto Rico Adoptables, correct?
Huh?
Puerto Rico Adoptables, and they can find that on Facebook, or where would they find that?
Look.
I'm sorry, say again?
On Facebook.
On Facebook. Puerto Rico Adoptables on Facebook. And if people are not on Facebook, where can they find the list of adoptable pets?
They could just email me.
Okay, you can email Jada, and Jada will provide you with the list of adoptable pets you can get. So it's just basically dogs and cats. Are there any other? Some people might say, well, you know something, I think I want to adopt, I don't know, a guinea pig, or I want to adopt a ferret. Do you have those too?
No, as in my group, I don't. I'm sure there are groups that I could probably find out, like rescue groups here that do have that, especially with birds, like with parrots and stuff.
Birds, I didn't even think about that because of course they're
Yeah.
birds. Do you have? I'm just curious. Do you have exotic birds such as cockatoos and
Well,
birds?
I have the big parrots here and stuff like that, and that'll, like wild ones. But I'm sure, I know, well, I'm going to say real fast, in Caguas, in the town square, there's a thing that they have that they keep these huge giant parrots that people go and visit all the time. They're really beautiful. They've been there for years.
Oh, yeah, my neighbor was from the islands, from Trinidad, and she used to keep, when my daughter was little, she used to have these beautiful, beautiful birds that she had brought up from the island. But I'm getting sidetracked. So I want a beautiful bird. I've got this crazy cat. So anyway, you heard it, folks. Do the right thing and volunteer, adopt, stay. you know the drill, and send Jada some money. I mean, she could use a few bucks. She works hard, and her volunteers work hard. And on that, Angel, I'm going to give you the last word.
Yes. Jada needs your help. All the rescuers need your help. There's a lot of rescues out there. They're all participating and helping each other, but they need your help. They're not government funded. They need money. They need money. They need your time. Enjoy Puerto Rico. Enjoy the life over there, and help out and bring a pet over to the States. And
Thank
please,
you.
people, spay and neuter your pets. Microchip your pets. And do you know where your pets are?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jada, and all the
Thank you.
work that you do.
Thank you.